don't understand.
Okay, have another question. Yeah, like that. Yeah, hi. This is for Jeremy. She's a sore throat. To promote Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett made some appearances around the country. Was that you, Jeremy, in the costume?
No, there was one piece, You See Me, they've taken it out of one film, Empire, and have slotted you in near Jabba the Hutt. There was one there that wasn't me, but it was me in the end. I mean, there was lots of little fidgeting to get it fixed. And so in answer to your question, I don't know what you're talking about.
And John, were there other sort of crazy ways that Jedi was promoted?
Sorry?
Any different original ways that Jedi was promoted?
Promoted?
Yeah.
Trying to think. Not that I can...
I'm not looking in mind, I just...
Yeah.
No? Okay, don't worry. Okay. Somebody else? Yeah.
Hi, for Jonathan. I was just wondering if you've ever thought about doing a book about the LucasArts games, the history of the games. It's sad that the studio's now shut, but there's such a legacy of incredible games that came out of that.
Well, there is a book about the history of the LucasArts games. It's just that nobody knows about it.
We have that book in
a
the
few
Empire
years
Office.
ago.
We do have that book in the Empire Office.
Sorry?
We have that book in
you
the
guys
Empire
have it.
Office.
It's
Yeah.
called, well, what's it called?
What do you say?
It's called Rogue Leaders. And it covers, I think, up to, the book was published around 2010 or so. And then we did have a new book that just came out called Star Wars Art Concept. In fact, it may be coming out in a couple of weeks. It's about sort of an overview of all the Star Wars concept art, and it has some of the concept art for the 1313 game that was canceled, if you're interested.
Great. Okay. There's a gentleman in a striped jumper.
Hi, Jonathan. I love Jabba's little entourage. I'm just wondering if they have backstories, those characters, especially Salacious Crumb.
This is a question for my colleague who's not here. He's back in America.
Pablo Hidalgo.
Well, I was thinking more of Leland, but Pablo also would know. Sure, there's backstories for all of them, but they weren't part of the original making of, so I don't really cover that. I know for Salacious Crumb, the story was that they all sort of fell in love with this puppet as they were doing it, and his name came from the fact that Phil Tippett and some of the ILM guys went out one day after work, or I think it was during lunch, and had one too many beers, and as they were leaving, Phil said, "Stop, I gotta tie my Salacious." And they said, "Salacious, that's hilarious, his name." And then George said, "You gotta be kidding me." And then later he adapted it and added, Crumb for Robert Crumb, and it became Salacious Crumb.
Anyone else? Yeah, in the middle there.
You know how they made the episodes 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
But there's like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
What are those? I've actually wanted to know for quite a long time.
John, do you want to explain that?
John.
Why are there 6 episodes?
Well, we just saw, that was number 6.
And Star Wars New Hope is number 4.
Number 4.
And Empire Strikes Back is number 5. Then the director George Lucas waited a few years, and in 1999 he made episodes 1, then 2 and 3.
He did them,
order.
yeah, sort of backwards.
Oh, okay.
And now we're going to do episode 7, which comes out in 2015.
You can't talk about
I think I'm working on something that I won't be able to. However much you can help me, I doubt that I'll be able to do it.
So have you become popular amongst your actor friends in terms of people phoning you up, trying to get...
No, there's loads of people have been phoning me up over the last 6 months saying, "Listen, it's John here. Now listen, I don't want any money. I don't want to be paid or anything. But who's casting the film? All I want is just to tread, because I'm getting on a bit now, and that's not one person. It's probably 15 saying, who do you talk to? I said, well, a casting director, your agent. Well, my agent's gone now. I don't know what to do. But it is, everyone's really up for this, whatever's going to happen.
Correct. Okay, any more questions? Yeah, the very, very back.
Just wait for the mic.
You could write a book while you're waiting.
You just shouted.
Over there.
Yes, hello. I have a question for Jeremy. I wondered, how did you first land the role of Boba Fett?
Well, landing the role, I was terribly lucky. My half-brother was associate producer on the first film and then was going to be on the second and third. And he said, look, are you free? It's not much, it's a couple of days on filming this character, but it's 2 days. I said, well, I'm in the theatre, which I was. And I said, I doubt whether I'll be able to. And it was just sort of left alone, nothing. And then he said, well, look, are you going to be free during the day? Obviously, you're in the theatre, you'll get back by the evening and go on stage. And that's how it happened. I put the costume on. The boots were size 10, I'm size 10, my shirt's 16, I'm 60. And then I said to someone later on, much later on, I said, it was meant to be. It just, I happened to fit the outfit as well. There was one costume. And I was, and I think I'm extremely lucky.
That's amazing. That's great.
To sit here and be talking to you and the different people you've met, the fans as well, who are very supportive, and and all the guys dressed up out there. That's gone on. It's incredible, and to be part of it is, feel very honoured by it.
Jonathan, are there stories, casting stories around Jedi? Didn't Alan Rickman read for something?
Sorry.
Didn't Alan Rickman read for something?
Yes, when you read the book, you'll see that the Emperor. There's a very interesting story that leads to Ian McDermott. It wasn't a slam dunk, and initially somebody else was cast, who was much, much older. Richard Marquand thought he needed somebody old to play somebody old, and but I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. All right. We've got time for a couple more questions. Again, right at the very back, then one in the middle there.
Hi, question for Jeremy. I've got to ask this. Do you have your costume? And if so, have you ever put it on since the movie?
Well, answer those questions. Yeah, I do have a replica costume, which is much lighter than the original one. And I have worn it twice for charity events. And I wore it in Essen this year with a big set. And it's an extraordinary costume, because once you put it on, the jetpack, you start going, get out of my way. You're next on my list. And then my first line ever in the film, I had to say, put Captain Solo in the cargo hold. Well, on the day, they said, right, stand by everybody, Jeremy ready? And I went, and action. Put Captain Cargo in the Solo. And there was silence, and I was inside the helmet. I'm going, what have you done? Hardly anything to say. You look cool. That's right. What have you done? And I said, fine, cut. Let's move on. Thanks, Jeremy. I said, and then I suddenly realised, hang on, wait a minute. They can't hear what I'm saying because it's. I mean, I could have been saying Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. It could have been meant the same thing. So that was a shock to me. Because he must have thought, what's this? Who's this bloke? He can't learn a line. He said the wrong line. That was a funny day.
And how heavy was the glass though? Was it?
The costume was very heavy and very uncomfortable. In fact, everybody I think were uncomfortable. You just had to put up with it.
Right. There's a question in the middle.
Hi there. I've always wondered, the end scene in Return of the Jedi, when Luke sets fire to the Darth Vader costume on the pyre, did they actually set fire to, was it like all of the costume, or was it just like a mock-up?
I think it was just a mock-up. That was a scene they added very late. Again, because Dwayne Dunham, who's the visual effects editor with George, asked George one day, he said, what happened to Darth Vader? And George said, well, Luke took him with him, and he said, really? I didn't get that. And George freaked out. Dwayne said he's never seen him angrier. And the next day there was a new scene added, which they filmed, a few weeks later at Skywalker.
That's at
The
Skywalker,
funeral
yeah.
here.
Okay. Final couple of things. Yep, got some. Yep. You got a microphone? Isn't it
So they just wanted the microphone.
Okay, the last couple of questions then. Admiral Akbar, kind of a cult hero of Jedi over the years. Why do you think that is? And have you got any kind of backstory on Akbar?
Well, it was George who gave Richard Marquand the choice of saying, what kind of species do you want Admiral Akbar to be? And they had their little maquettes up there at ILM, and Marquand said, that guy, the Mon Calamari. And the other ILMers were going, oh, that's not going to work.
It's a sweet head.
Yeah, that's going to, Phil Tippett in particular, probably, that's going to be difficult. And on the enhanced ebook, you can see there's actually some footage of Tippett trying to dress Akbar in the briefing room, and it's not working, they can't hear what he's saying, and it is causing problems. But then I also wonder why is he so popular? And I asked a couple guys back then, and he said their response was it's a giant squid talking.
Well, I think that's a very good place to stop. If you'd like to purchase a book, it's still available from the bar. If you have a book to sign, if you queue up on the right here, I just need to say some thank yous. I'd like to thank the Jedi Orem Press for organising the event. I'd like to thank the Rebels of Forbidden Planet for applying the stock. I'd like to thank the Ewoks at the Prince Charles Cinema for being cuddly and lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and please thank Jonathan Rinzler, Jeremy Bulloch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.